Hi everybody, my name is Brittany. I am an avid sports enthusiast as well as an aspiring sports journalist. So I created this YouTube channel to not only practice my broadcasting skills, but also to give my viewers an overview of what's going on in the sporting world. So first I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what this little mini broadcast is going to be about, or entail I should say. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend this past weekend, so first things first, I will be covering boxing. Second, I'll cover the free UFC match that we had as well on Saturday. And then I'll go into briefly the NBA. Haven't really been following playoffs as much as I should, but got a few little points I could talk about. And I kind of completely fell off with NHL. So I'll try to get back in and get some more updates for you all. So first topic of discussion is the Cotto versus Margarito fight. The first undercard match was Vargas versus, can't remember the other guy's name, but Vargas completely dominated. The gentleman he fought is older. He was known, years ago, probably about 10 to 15 years ago, and just can't really keep up anymore. He got outboxed and really outscored on the cards. So I know Vargas won. He's a younger cat. He's probably about 25-ish, I'm guessing. Pretty boring fight, really, if you ask me. But the next undercard fight was one that I was really looking forward to, and if you watch boxing, I'm sure that you are looking forward to as well. That was Canelo Alvarez versus Shane Mosley. For those of you that don't know, Canelo Alvarez is only 21 years old, so he is super young, and he was fighting Shane Mosley, who is 40 years old, so there was a pretty big age difference there. Mosley is really at the end of his career, unfortunately. He was great years ago, but he can't keep up anymore. He's old. I mean, wouldn't necessarily say I counted him out, but Canelo's skills really outweigh Mosley's skills right now. So I definitely had Canelo Alvarez favored significantly. I'd say 4-1 odds. But like I said, you can never count Mosley out. He's very strong. He's a veteran. He knows exactly what to expect in a fight. But I'm sorry, everybody, there's going to be tons of spoiler alerts throughout these broadcasts, just in case you don't know. Basically, Mosley's skills just couldn't keep up with Canelo's speed. Canelo is super strong. He's 154 pounds, but he looks like he's at least 165, really, when he's fighting. He's a heavy guy, heavy hands, very skilled. He has decent head movement. He moves around enough. I believe he had a reach advantage against Mosley as well. Not to mention the age difference. I mean, I think most people expected Canelo to win, and he did. So he is still unbeaten. I'm very pleased. Not sure who he's supposed to fight next. I know in his previous fight he had called out Mayweather, but let's be honest, he's not ready for a Mayweather caliber fighter. I'd actually like him to fight probably about 2-3 more guys before he saw somebody of that type of caliber, really. But most importantly, let's move on to the main event, Cotto versus Mayweather. Going into the fight, I know Mayweather was favored 7-1 odds. Pretty big difference. I thought it was a little skewed, but not gonna lie, I did have Mayweather favored, probably closer to a 5-1 odd, maybe 4-1, maybe. The biggest difference was going to be Cotto's lack of speed. Mayweather has to be one of the quickest fighters in the game right now, and his movement is, top notch. He has a great defense. He doesn't like getting hit. So really that all paired with Cotto's lack of speed is kind of a solution or a formula for trouble for Cotto, really. So, Cotto has a lot of heart. He looked great in his match against Margarito. He outboxed him every single round. Cotto has great hands. He's a great boxer. He really knows how to lay it on you when it's there. But that's something that I didn't see from him until about the 4th, 5th round. It looks like he was kind of filling him out for the first 3, and it was kind of disheartening to see him not really take advantage of what he was capable of doing. For those of you that didn't watch, Cotto was able to get Mayweather in the corner against the ropes, and he wasn't really doing anything with it. Once he had Mayweather against the ropes, he was kind of on the defense, which was weird to me. He kind of had a couple flurries, got him a few rounds. I have the match overall scored a 9-3 for Mayweather. I thought it was a lot better fight than I expected. For those of you that follow boxing, we all know that there's plenty of big boxing matches that we expect to be great, and they end up being huge disappointments. So I was very pleased with the outcome of all of the matches. I thought it was a great card, great matches. And Cotto, he looked good, just not as good as he needed to be. It was evident that he wasn't, up there yet, or maybe he will never be. Because if anybody watches Mayweather, we all know he doesn't like hurting his pretty face, so he keeps his shoulder real high to block out his chin. So what really Cotto needed to do was try to aim, up here, kind of for the orbital or down the body, and he didn't really do too much of that. Like I said, I only had him win about three rounds. I know other people saw, 4 or 5, some even 6, but it wasn't enough to win the fight. Not sure that I'd like to see a rematch. I think even with a rematch, the same outcome would come. But who knows? Mayweather would probably love another payday. I know he was guaranteed $32 million going into the fight, which is absolutely insane, if you ask me. But he's Money Mayweather, right? Money team. So aside from UFC, aside from boxing, there was UFC on as well. Nate Diaz versus Jim Miller was the main event. Two brothers, they actually, it's two set of brothers, because Nate Diaz has an older brother, Nick Diaz, who also fights in the UFC, and Jim Miller has another brother, I believe he's older as well, Dan Miller, I believe his name is, and that fights in the UFC. So it was kind of cool, two sets of brothers fighting against one another. Nate Diaz is a great boxer, as is his brother, Nick Diaz. They actually train with Andre Ward, who is one of the champs in boxing right now. I think he's a 160-something pound champ. 165 or 162, something like that. So their boxing is out of this world. I mean, especially for MMA. So yeah, I think a lot of people had Nate Diaz favored to win the fight. Jim Miller, he's a respectable guy. He shows a lot of heart in all of his matches. He has a pretty good ground game, pretty good stand-up. He throws his body through all of his shots. But really it came down to the reach advantage that Nate had over him. I think it was like a 4-inch reach advantage. And then once he was on the ground, Nate's just as good, if not better, on the ground. He's also, he trains with Gracie, so he eventually got him in I'm not sure if it was a guillotine. I know it was one of the chokes, and it's kind of gruesome the way it happened, because he got caught without a mouthpiece in, and his tongue ended up outside of his mouth during the choke, and once it was cut off, Jim Miller actually was biting down on his tongue throughout the ending seconds of the choke. So it was pretty gross. So Nate did win that match in a submission. He probably got submission of the night. There was a number of good fights on the undercard. Pat Barry, he was defeated by some guy from Strikeforce that they brought over in the heavyweight division. He was a pretty big guy. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, Pat Barry, it was a technical knockout, I think, in the first round, like probably 50 seconds left in the match, or in the round. What other fights were on there? Koscheck against Hendricks was on there. That went to decision. Hendricks won the decision. I know there was probably a lot of controversy with that. I know a lot of people thought that Koscheck should have won. I actually had Hendricks winning the match. Not really convincingly, but I had him winning. I thought he had more devastating shots. I thought he won his rounds more convincingly, so that's how I kind of scored it. But like I said, a lot of people thought that Koscheck deserved that decision. Can't really remember any other fights that were on that card, but there was a number of good ones. Especially for a free card, you can't really complain, right? Okay, well, aside from boxing and UFC, obviously we're going through the NBA playoffs right now. The only team that is done with the first round, I believe, is Oklahoma City. They swept Dallas, which was pretty crazy. I know a lot of people didn't assume that Dallas would get swept. They are the reigning champs from last year. Kind of crazy, but it happened. Oklahoma City, Kevin Durant, he did it. So I was pretty happy about that. I'm hoping that Oklahoma City makes it all the way to the finals. I know I have a lot of Laker fans Laker friends that are hoping that the Lakers could kind of beat them out, but we'll see. That should happen the next round because I assume that Lakers will take their series against the Nuggets. Not sure what the final score was in today's game, but I think there's one more. Unless Denver won today, which I doubt, but who knows? Haven't checked into those scores yet. I know Miami's up 3-1 right now. They actually were going for the sweep today against the Knicks, which honestly I thought they were going to be able to pull off. I thought if the Knicks were going to win one game, it was going to be their last game, and they completely fell apart and let Miami take that game over. But I was pretty excited to actually see the Knicks win a game. I think it helped them out. And it helped their fans out. I know it's a relief to actually win a game, especially at home. Carmelo had 41 points, for those of you that don't know. Not really sure why LeBron wasn't covering him. I'm not sure why Miami didn't make that adjustment, but that really was the difference in the game. It came down to the last 13 seconds. And I believe it was Wade that went up for the shot. I think he went initially for a 3 and then a 2. Maybe it was a 3. I can't really remember right now, but didn't make it. So the Knicks won at home. They'll be heading back to Miami next few days and continue that series, and Miami will be hoping to close that out. I'm a Bulls fan, for those of you that don't know. So this playoffs this year has been pretty rough for me after Derrick Rose went out with his torn ACL. The Bulls have really struggled in this series when I know not only myself, but pretty much all NBA followers really thought that the Bulls had the capacity to sweep Philadelphia. I don't think anybody really expected the injuries to happen. Not only is Rose out with his torn ACL, but Joakim Noah went out Friday. I believe it's a high ankle sprain. Not sure. He wasn't suited today, so. But like I said, it's been a rough season or playoff season for the Bulls. The Bulls right now are down 3-1. Headed back to Chicago, so hopefully we can pull out another win. More importantly, I just want to stay healthy. I don't really think the Bulls have a chance competing for the East right now. But there's always next year. Derrick Rose has a 5-year contract, so hopefully things will turn out for the better next year. That's pretty much it for current sports updates. My favorite NFL is out of season right now. There's not too much going on yet. Not too many trades going on. Terrell Suggs is out for the season, I believe, with a torn ACL. If not for the season, for a long length of time. Not sure why I believe he was in Arizona when he tore it. Not sure why that was happening. I know there are camps going on right now. But yeah, he's out. He was Defensive Player of the Year, so that is a huge hit for Baltimore. They're going to have to compensate for that somehow, pick up somebody in free agency. Not really sure what they're looking at. What other big news is there? Jonathan Vilma, he is suspended for the whole season without pay. That's from the bounty dilemma going on with New Orleans. Pretty crazy if you ask me. Jonathan Vilma is probably one of my favorite players, especially on defense, and that's going to be a huge hit to New Orleans. Luckily, they anticipated, something major was going to happen, so they were able to pick up some people in free agency. I'm not sure what they did in the draft, but I know they have anticipated, having to fill that middle linebacker position. So, New Orleans Saints should look significantly different than they have in the past few years. It's going to be a pretty crazy season once again. Well, that's kind of all I have right now for this first broadcast. Don't be too critical against me, or on me, I'm sorry. If you guys have any tips, if you guys have anything you'd like me to talk about, feel free to let me know. This was, like I said, my first broadcast, so it's kind of a little bit of everywhere. Hopefully in the future I'll have a more detailed agenda to go through. Until then, I guess I will speak with you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.